Peace, family. Peace, peace, peace. Peace, family. Peace. We're going to get into it today. Ashe, ashe. Much love to the family tapping in. I appreciate y'all already. Much love. Much gratitude. Today, we're going to get into it, man. We're going to get into it today. We're going to get into the sciences of 9Ether. The ether in general, right? The Akasha, right? We're going to get into it. I'm going to also have another God, a master teacher on the panel. I'm going to add him in, but I just wanted to kick it off, from an individualistic point of view, perception. I just wanted to kick off the live and, tap in with the tribe. Peace to all the family that's tapping in right now. It's always, it's always an honor to be able to be here walking in purpose with reasoning, tapped into the higher senses, the Zohar minds, just here to raise the vibration, man. So again, it's always an appreciation, man, on this to be able to be on this platform right now. And peace to all the 70 that's tapped in, to all the 88 that's tapped in right now. And we're gonna get into the 9Ether, man. We're gonna get into the 9Ether sciences today, family. And we just gonna, tap in and we gonna vibe out today. All right. Love and light to everybody in the chat, man. Look, y'all, we kicking it off. We got KaeRae, KJ from KaeRae, the twin guys, the Heru twins. We've been on this platform, man. We've been on this platform hitting all different angles, all different tetraangular angles with these archons, man, with the deep state cabal, man. We just been hitting it from different angles. But today, we're gonna bring it back to the inception, right? We're gonna bring it back to the origins. We're gonna bring it back to Nagut. We're gonna bring it back to the black dot. We're gonna bring it back to the woman. Right? The divine source. We're going to get into it, though. We're going to get into it. We're going to get into the ethers today. All right, family? Because we can get into a whole bunch of other sciences, but if you don't understand the existence, the overall supreme science, Nawabu or Nupu or, the ancient Kemetic sciences, if you don't understand the origins of science, then what are you doing? If you don't know what metaphysics is, the foundation of metaphysics is, the foundation of quantum physics, all these things are in alignment, are an amalgamation of actual data, that was stored in our Akashic records, right? The Akasha, the ethers, right? Come on, man. We have to know where the origins of everything are in order to understand, have the right overstanding, right? Ran your cipher. Ashe. I love you too, sister. I love you, baby. Peace, goddess, peace. Much love. But so man, we gonna kick it off, man. I'm gonna be reading to y'all from some notes, as well as just elaborating off the notes. But it's some pretty serious topics we're gonna touch on. Like I said, I'm gonna pretty much go over my notes right here in front of me, and then I'm going to have a teacher, a grandmaster teacher come in, and he's going to come in and break shit down even more. So we pretty much going to be building today. So have y'all, I want to actually take the time, in this live right now, whoever's going to vibe, a couple minute meditation or a moment of silence, because we finna get it, man. We finna get in alignment, man. Let's thank the ancestors, man. Be thankful for this moment, be in the energy of gratitude for this moment, and we're gonna keep it silent, man, for a couple minutes, and we're gonna come back and we're gonna kick it off. All right. Deep breaths. Take deep breaths if you're not taking deep breaths. Channel your higher self. Mental plane activities right now, family. The energy of gratitude, because we're building and we're learning right now. We're very grateful for the moment. Just know, without ether, you won't be able to exist in the moment. Ashe. Yeah, I just wanted to take that little moment, to get the energies in alignment. Anybody who's not supposed to be here, if you're not in alignment with this timeline, then you're gonna naturally digress. So whoever here, we're gonna kick off this information and we're gonna start here, man. 9Ether. What is 9Ether, right? We have a breakdown, man. We're gonna break it down and we're gonna spell ether. We're actually gonna start off with ether, right? We're not even gonna get into the 9-ball science just yet, but let's cover what actual ether is, right? All right. So ether, we're gonna break it down as an anagram right now, but just stay with me, right? So ether, AETHER. So let's break it down. A, right? A for antimatter, right? The E in ether, electricity, right? The T stands for thermodynamics. The H, hydrodynamics, right? E, the other E in ether, magnetic radiation. And the R, we're going to have it at a resonance, which is sound, frequency, and vibration. Right? Your understanding. There's no coincidence why things are, spelt a certain way in this matrix. Everything is shit may not make sense, but the truth always is gonna be relative, but the truth is it's always supposed to add up, you know what I'm saying? When you really start decrypting and being able to decipher and use your discernment, even while in your researching, when you're in your researching kind of flow, it's still all supposed to add up, right? So we're just gonna get into a little brief breakdown of what the actual breakdown of what I just said the ethers was, right? Because I said, right, A, antimatter, E, electricity, T, thermodynamics, hydrodynamics, electromagnetic radiation, and resonance, right? Which is, again, sound, frequency, and vibration. Let's kind of break down each topic, really fast, right? So we can have the righteous understanding of what is actually being told, because we need it alive where we're actually learning. You know what I'm saying? Where you got your blunt maybe, or maybe you even got your nose. This is one of those kind of lives. You know what I'm saying? So if you're here to learn, and you kicking it and you vibing, or you can even just sit back and absorb the information, right? Because if you tapped in like that, you can do that as well. You got good, holographic photonic memory. Your neurons are firing, and you can absorb the information that way. So let's start, man. Antimatter, right? The essence essentially is the essence of the universe. Just the overall gases, the conscious gases. You know what I'm saying? That ties into it, right? And this is where we kind of digress and kind of merge into the 9Ether, right? Let's kind of break it. Let's bring it to the 9Ether really fast, and then we're going to get back into the breakdowns of the words, right? But the 9Ether are the conscious gases, right? There are the conscious gases, of the universe, of everything. So, even though everything stems from us, everything stems from the etheric force, the Ethereans, it's still a difference, you know what I'm saying? Because our vibrations are high. The Ethereans, the vibrations are high. We aren't disconnected. We are very much aware that we are interconnected with everything, right? So again, we gonna get more into the breakdown. So again, what is 9Ether, right? 9Ether is a combination of all existing gases of nature, right? 9Ether is a Nawabian phrase used to describe very curly hair, nappy, kinky, or woolly. You understanding? So the melanated beings with the curly hair, right? The antennas, the coils, the magnetic coils, right? The things that literally connect us to the akasha or the ether, right? We have 9 ethers, right? And our hair is curly, just like the pattern, the natural pattern of the universe, right? Because when you get into the meaning of what universe actually means, right? Uni means one, right? You and I, right? You understanding? And the verse means to spiral outward, the spiral, right? Just like spirituality, just like cycles, just like 9, right? So it's in supreme order, there's no mistakes being made by, the translations, because all of the doctrine that you have on this earth right now is at some point either watered down or transliterated, which means paraphrased, essentially transliterated for an entity's personal regime or a personal gain, right? And when you're in a state of entropy, which we're going to get into as well, when you're in a state of entropy, you're vibrating low, right? You start to mix Mother Nature's laws, and that's what we're here to reverse that polarity up right now. So again, appreciate everybody who tapping in and listening. We're gonna continue, right? All right. So the Akashic or etheric intelligence, that is empty space, right? Empty space has a certain intelligence manifesting in darkness, right? Which is a source. So without the Akasha or the ether, right, the connection, you couldn't exist here, right? Because without air, without air you can't exist here, right? So the ethers played that primitive, primordial role, as well as the nitrogen, the hydrogen, right, the water, the atoms, the molecules, all of these energies essentially play a very important role, right? Because the ethers are a part of the 5-point star, right? You understanding yet? Because that's where you get the element. It's the fifth element that that is never really propagated, right? Until you get into actual spiritual, mystic, ancient, Nawabian arts. You know what I'm saying? Or just when you get into metaphysics or quantum physics or things like that, you actually are being exposed to, the higher intellectual, esoteric information, right? But now we're in 2024, so that shit is, it's a part of us now. You know what I'm saying? We actually tapped into these light codes now, right? Peace and much love to the goddesses that's joined, that's locked in with me. I appreciate y'all. Peace and much love to the gods as well that's locked in and on this frequency right now, because I just definitely did like 4 hours of research to put this little live together. And like I said, if you're just now joining in, we're talking about the science of 9Ether right now, of the science of noon, right? The science of noon, which is, your supreme creator, the goddess gene, you got the 9 Etherian goddesses that are the very existence, before creation, right? So you got the womb, which is, like I said, an intelligent and intellectual force, right? A force of nature that is intelligent. The womb is the most intelligent and the most supreme, right? Because everything then manifests itself, whether it's in physical, spiritual, or some kind of mental force, mental energy is going to be manifested through darkness first. Everything comes from the dark first, family. Always remember that. And that is the personification of the woman. You hear me? You understand? If you don't understand that by now, you should slap yourself. Because with the most respectful and disrespectful, balanced out energy behind that message, because we are in the state of we are in the age of Aquarius, the age of information, right? So there's no reason why you shouldn't be evolving and with the planet while the planet is terraforming, right? You should be terraforming and aligning your vibrations as well. You should be ascending into, out of the totalitarian divisional constructs of this Metatronic overlay system, which they call the Matrix, the deep state. Shadow Cabal calls it their Matrix. Ball calls it the Matrix. These technocrats, these archonic figures, right? You're understanding who the enemy is, right? So, and the enemy is gonna lie. So a person who's on that lying, devilish type of time, you need to stay away from that type of energy. You know what I'm saying? Get right. You knowledge yourself. Self-awareness is where it starts, and you must build from the root up, right? Peace, and much love to Crystal Energy, to Chosen, on the King, on his home. Peace to all the goddesses that tapped in right now. Again, much love. Peace to all the guys, man. We gonna learn, man. We gonna build and we gonna expose. Y'all know we do a little bit of everything. So let's get back into the 9Ether science, right? All right. Like I said, so without Akasha or ether, the connection to the ether, you cannot exist here, right? So you can only live for a moment with the existence, with the energetic presence of ether, right? The earth, the solar system, the galaxy, the cosmos is all held in place only by the ether, by the Etherians, by the Akashic, right? By the spark of divinity, the Hu, right? The Atum. Let's break it down, family. Let's get more into it, because with the intelligence, which is holding the cosmos together, which is ether, it needs to be more light shined on it, because once you get the inception of what ether is and how it connects you to everything around you, it begins a little bit easier to navigate, right? Because becoming a student of self, or becoming a student of the universe, is becoming a student of the study of all, which in the all ether is there, and it plays a very, very important central role within everything. So understand, family, bliss, much love, reflection as well. Understand, family, that with the information that's being disclosed here, it's not in misinformation, right? And we're just touching topics. We're not even going as deep as we could go into it. We're just touching these topics. But so it is the intelligence that holds the cosmos together, right? Ether, right? And it's a feminine magnetic force, essentially. Because even when you say the word together, you still get to get her, right? To get her, right? So there's no reason why togetherness and wholeness, even stems from this cosmic balance of feminine and masculine energy. But the feminine energy was there first. Like I said, you can't, without the darkness without the darkness there's no light, right? Because the light manifested itself through the darkness, right? It is that intelligence which is the womb for creation, right? The woman, the feminine creator, right? It is in the womb of that intelligence that all creation is happening, and that is not and understand, right? Understand that it is not denied to you, family. All creation, the intelligence that is within all of creation that is happening constantly, is not denied to you. Access is not blocked. You just never looked that way. You've been too busy looking outside of yourself, right? You're not looking within. You're not looking inside. You're looking the wrong way. You're looking for exterior sky daddies, right? Ashe, Ashe, we never die. Energy just transforms, right? It is not created, nor can it be destroyed, right? So, you are your creator, right? In your universe. The you is in there for a reason. You understanding? You understanding? Right? Okay, so we finna get back into the breakdown. Like I said, if you've been here, then you know that I just been kind of jumping back to back. But I have these notes here, man. We gonna go over everything. So at the end of the day, there's no particular order, man. My mind just roams. And if you're on a certain vibration, you're gonna be, you're gonna be all right. You know what I'm saying? If you following, you're following. Ashe. Understood, understood, and it's always much love, family. I appreciate y'all. Yeah, like I said, I'm just getting the floor hot, man, cause I got a tough. I got a grand master, man. I got an ascended master teacher, man, joining the panel eventually. And he gonna break it down even more, man. He gonna break down the science of noon, right? The 9Ether sciences. He's gonna go even more in depth in his mental plane, right? Because at the end of the day, understand that we're just all students at the end of the day. In the vast, endless, boundless, forever expanding universe, you're forever a student. So just understand that. Understand the theories even understand that, right? So like I said, we have ether, right? AETHER, right? Antimatter, electricity, thermodynamics, hydrodynamics, electromagnetic radiation, and resonance, right? Resonance being sound, frequency, and vibration, right? So at the beginning, I had kind of went into what antimatter is. It's the God particle, right? The woman's gene, essentially. The indigenous or black, what they want to call a black, manifested in carbon form. The Ethereum black woman, right? The indigenous Afro, Asiatic or original woman of the universe, right? The goddess of civilization, right? The divine creators. So that's what the antimatter, that's what the A is kind of referencing in the ether, right? Because it's like I said, it's a part of the all, man. You get into the inception and the breakdowns of these words, it's everything is placed perfectly for a reason, right? Electricity. What is electricity? Electricity is heat, right? Electricity is emotion, right? It's emotion of protons, and electrons, and it's a form of ionization that goes on, right? Ionization is a process of converting neutral molecules into charged ions, right? So electricity, like I said, is heat. It's conducive to heat, and we are the sun. We have sun and heat genes, right? Our ethers, right, connects us, and I mean by our ethers, I mean our hair. What these people call hair on this realm. Our ethers connect us magnetically, right? And through these different subatomic processes, you have the amalgamation of energy transmutation and a difference in composition, right? You got heat going from a state of entropy as well, and we're gonna get right into that right now and the laws of thermodynamics, right? So let's get right into it because, like I said, family. Everything is connected, man. Even as much research as you could do, you're still gonna get to a point to where you're like, God damn, like everything just essentially connects in some kind of way. Because everything on the spiritual sense you have to understand is connected. Nothing is separated. There's no such thing as, a duality or a dualistic 555 family. Much love. 555 likes. I appreciate y'all. This is all divine, and you got 5 viewers in here, so it's all divine, family. But so yeah, everything is connected, man. But like I said, we're gonna get back into thermodynamics real fast. The laws of So you got thermodynamics is pretty much the study of relations between heat, work, temperature, and energy, right? Heat is generated and transferred to the environment by keeping the inner temperatures constant, right? So when the energy transfers that occurs in the molecules. So it's an energetic transfer of different energies, or like I said, or molecules, or within that occurs within the molecules, right? Like I said, this is a subatomic particle. This is a subatomic process, family. So that means that it's happening within, that atom. It's happening on a very, although we can look at it from a microscopic kind of perception, but it's being done on the macroscopic planes, if you understand what I'm saying, family. But so the laws of thermodynamics, you have the zeroth, first law, second law, third law, right? So the laws are right here, family, and they are conducive to oh, shit, I got so much shit right here. Hold on, family. Man. The laws. Okay, so right here, right? The zeroth law of dynamics. Right? The temperature, and it says right here, two systems in equilibrium with third systems that are thermal. So it's pretty much the connection of the systems and the equilibrium, right? Like I said, this all works in tandem. Every law works in tandem, even though they all play their own role. Because it's, like I said, it's just different processes of how energy is acknowledged and how it processes itself within its existence of being. Like, because everything in the universe has its reason, because it was manifested through will and through reason, which is resonance, which is sound, vibration, and frequency, right? Like I'm saying, but we're gonna get into it. Okay, so the first law is the conservation of energy, right? Energy can change forms, but it is neither created nor destroyed. We said that already, right? So this kind of ties into the universal law. The second law, which is entropy of an isolated system, and it's always increasing, right? And the third law is the entropy of a system when it approaches a constant system as temperature approaches zero. So that's entropy, right? That's the transfer of energy, and entropy is like saying, for example, something hot turning cold. An ice cube in a solid form, with the heat being amalgamated and it being transferred through that solid form, because it's doing nothing but merging and interacting with the cells and molecules and transforming its composition, right? That's a state of entropy, right? So now you got hydrodynamics, which is the H in the ether, right? Because we're breaking down the letter for letter in ethers right now. We're breaking down the letter for letters in ether. Ether spelled AETHER, right? Again, antimatter, electricity, thermodynamics, hydrodynamics, electromagnetic radiation, and resonance, right? Resonance being sound, vibration, and frequency. Peace and much love to all the goddesses. And that's just tapping in. Peace, Kia J. Peace, much love to the goddess, man. Much love. Ashe. Ashe to everybody who's tapping in right now, man. We everywhere with it right now. Like I said, I'm reading off notes and then I'm going off the dome as well. Just in an elaborative state of mental right now, but we in the mental planes right now, family. Just know we in the mental plane right now. So yeah, let's get back into the hydrodynamics. What is hydrodynamics, right? What is hydrodynamics, or fluid motion, right? Fluid motion is pretty much the motion. It's the motion or the reading of motion or water, right? The liquid, right? It's the motion of water. That's kind of what the science or studies of hydrodynamics is based upon. Electromagnetic radiation, right? 666. Ashe, we catching them, family. We catching them, man. It's all divine, though. It's all divine, family. Yeah, let's get into it, man. Let's get into it. We got the hydrodynamics law. Hydrodynamics, right, or fluid motion. The fundamental principles governing hydrodynamics are the conservation of mass, right, the conservation of motion, and the conservation of momentum, and as well as the conservation of energy, right? Because, like I said, even motion is relative because it has moods, right? Because it has moods, it's still relative because it has the ability to change its form, right? And that's what we as 9-ether beings have the ability to do, right? Because we exist in all planes of existence at once, right? In all different forms, right? Like I said, you have the Etherians, right? Which is the plasma energy, or the energy, the conscious gases that are just, amalgamated. And if you were to see it in the retrospect through your retina and your optical nerves, which is your eyes, through the holographic simulator, which is your brain, you would see like an energy or a shadow-like figure or a light kind of orbish figure, right? So that's one form, right? Because we're energy. At base form, we're energy, right? Protons, electrons, and neutrons, and subatomic particles and quark particles, right? Because atoms are made up. Although a hydrogen atom is the lightest atom, but within a particle of a atom, you have quark particles, right? So yeah, now you have the E, which is the electromagnetic, the other E in the ether, which is the electromagnetic radiation, or AKA light, right? Photons. You have ultraviolet rays, things like that. So we're going to get into right now an elaboration on electromagnetic radiation, right? Because when light hits a prism, right, which your body is a prism because it's encapsulating a soul right now through the crystalline energy, right? So the crystals, the magnetite and dendrite crystals in your vessel activates the data receptors and transmitters within the neurological faculties of man, right? So what the light does is it travels through, the ethers, and it travels through the ionosphere in the form of ionization through plasma emissions, right? So that's when you get the personification of a solar flare or a burst of energy, and you have a carnation cycle of man, right? Of carbon being vessels, right? So when light hits a prism, again, like I said, the prism is a body. The body is a spaceship as well. The body is something that light travels through, as well as different energies, because at the end of the day, everything travels through everything, right? Understand these things, right? But when light particularly hits the body, it spreads and it breaks into 6 different colors, right? And that's where you get the gamma radiations, the color red, yellow, green, violet, and blue, right? That's where you get these colors. That's where you get the spectrum. That's where you get the ideologies or the theosophies of what the color spectrums actually represent, or what the color systems and color spectrum is actually supposed to be referring to. But like I said, when light travels and it hits, something with certain mass or a certain density, or when it interacts with a certain molecule or particle, it changes its forms depending on the energy reaction, right? Because the action, was inevitable, right? But the reaction is only there due to the fact that an action even occurred. Again, family, everything is connecting, everything is playing this role for a reason, because and this is intelligence at its finest, family. This is what the melanated woman does best. She creates, and everything that follow her created. Everything, just because she was creative, which is a prime example of when you're indulging in your feminine energies, when you're creative, when you're being creative, right? Because that creative force, that creative force of nature is indeed, the ethers. So you have to understand these things, family, right? And that was the E, electromagnetic radiation in the ethers. And now you have the R, the resonance, which is sound, frequency, and vibration. We pretty much, if you're here, if you locked in still, I'm already knowing you locked in and you know what the sound, frequency, and vibrations are. But it's energy and motion. It's everything. It's sound isn't everything, it's wavelengths, and it's certain measurements in nanometers that it gigahertz, megahertz, that go into all the different breakdowns of these. So like I said, I'm gonna let the God tap in and elaborate. He can tap in and elaborate more on that. But like I said, everybody is at their own understanding of what sound, frequency, vibrations are. But we just gonna keep it pushing, because like I said, I have a bright panel of individuals, and I already know y'all tapped in. So let's just keep it going, right? So let's move on, man. We just did the breakdown of the 9Ether and the letters and what it kind of symbolized, right? So now let's get into the 7 master moods or vibrations. I just want to touch these topics because it's conducive to 7. 7 is such an important number for so many reasons, right? Because once we get into the inception point of planes, of what a plane actually is, and how everything is connected and how everything works in symbiotic connection with understanding and knowledge and wisdom, right? Because in order to be an intelligent or an intellectual being, you have to complete your cipher. Your cipher must be complete. That is completion before completion, right? Because everything happens on a higher plane of existence before it even gets down to the physical third mental planes, right? So you have 7 masters or 7 master moves of vibrations, or other known as like other planes, essentially, right? Because planes are distinct and intricate moves of vibrations. Nothing in creation's rest. So planes are distinct and intricate moves of vibration. That's what a plane is. We're not talking about planes, like planes that transport people from A to B. And we're not talking about that. We're talking about, what I'm saying? We're talking about planes. We're talking about actual dimensions in existence. A spark of a dimension in existence, right? So, because you have etheric forces. Etheric forces are the forces or degrees of the physical that are linked in the next plane. So the etheric forces usher you through these planes interdimensionally. Like I say, because ether or akasha is everything, is in everything, and it's everywhere as well. It plays its role. Everything plays its role within the universe. Yeah, like I said, when the God just joined, man, we finna tap the God in, man. Let the teacher tap in, man, in a second. I'm gonna actually invite him now. We're gonna chill in the panel. and I'm gonna finish up the 7 master moves of vibrations, and we're gonna get more into the 9 ether sciences, family. We're gonna get more into the 9 ether sciences, and we just gonna hit it from every angle because with the righteous overstanding, is an essential elevation. It's an essential and inevitable elevation, ascension that comes with it. But so one of the 7 master moves of vibration, right? Which is ushered in by the ethers, which exists within the ethers, because like I said, without the ethers, you will not be able to exist. Overstand. You overstanding it, right? So you have the solids region. Number 2, liquids or chemicals. Number 3, gases, dense physical, right? And then you start getting into the ultra gaseous matters, right? Which are 1 ether, electrical ether, right? Haya or life, right? You have the 3rd ether, which is light ether, and then you have the 4th ether, which makes 7 in terms of the master moves. I just named 7, and then you have the 7, which is the mental reflecting plane or mood of vibration. These are planes. Those are all planes I just listed. Ashe, peace, much love to everybody who tapping in. Um, yeah, those are 7 I just listed. Ashe, peace, much love to everybody who tapping in. Um, yeah, those are 7 reflecting plane, right? Yeah. Peace to the family, man.
Peace, peace.
Peace to the family. You got nine ball, master of Nuwapu sciences, man. The 9 ether science, man. We got a God in here, man. I want everybody, man, to tap and show much love and much gratitude, because this guy right here, I'm honestly, man, it's honestly an honor to have him on my panel right now, man. We finna. I'm honestly finna hand the baton over, man, because what it is just the building. It's the building process. It's a building process, and um, like I said, we're just in the energy of gratitude to be able to be here and to be able to be learning as a student in this realm, in this plane right here. And God, shit, what's going on, man? Peace. Much love.
Peace, man. Let me get situated, sit in my chair so I can get comfortable. I
No, definitely, man,
Yeah,
definitely.
so I can get comfortable.
Yeah, we got an ascended, master, grandmaster teacher, in the building of the Nwapu sciences, man. We need I'm gonna let him elaborate on everything that he has going on as well, all the good that he's bringing. Go tap into his page right now, follow him right now, man, because what he's teaching is like, like I said, is that real life esoteric, like this is a must know kind of thing. This is it's all information that we need to that needs to be recited, all information that needs to be internalized and spread. And you know it's just we're at that time to where if you're not evolving, you're dead. You know what I'm saying? And that process of death isn't the natural process. You know what I'm saying? It's not the universal process of death. It's not necessarily changing composition, because you're in a state of entropy. You're in a state of chaos to where it's consuming you. But you have to be evolving with the planet. You have to be changing, evolving, and learning. Spiritually evolving. Let that ego of the third material plane die, and let your spiritual ego rise. You know, let's go. Let's get it. You feel
All
me?
right, so basically, the the subject of non-ether, I think, is very vast. So I think that we need to narrow it to actually have a starting point. So what I usually do for people is I like to give them the actual gist of what it means when we say non-ether. I think that that's the first point, because usually people find it hard to research the concept in depth because they don't realize that, first of all, ether is a Greek word, um, that was coined by Greek philosophers or Greek scientists, but the actual term itself is actually an acronym. It's not an actual word, so to speak. And when you research it as a word, I don't think it really gets to the gist of what ether in general and non-ether specific is, because you would have to understand the actual acronym of the word. So the first thing that we do is we use the Greek spelling Aether, because originally what they was trying to do was describe the forces that's pretty much in a cohesive working formula that creates non-ether. And so we're going to go into that first. So if you spell ether Aether, that's literally an acronym for antimatter, electricity, thermodynamics, hydrodynamics, electromagnetic radiation, and resonant energy. You understand that? So all of those are the forces that works in the universe through a certain vibration or frequency of consciousness. Now, when we say nine, what most people don't realize is that the number nine in ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs is actually the symbol for 100, right? So it literally, as a number, represents the word either all or 100%, or just say 100. So 9 ether is all antimatter, all electricity, all thermodynamic, all hydrodynamic, all electromagnetic radiation, and all resonant energy that comes together under a conscious format to create differentiations of forms in nature. You follow that? So that's the first thing that needs to be understood. And from there, we start with antimatter, right? What is antimatter? In its most simplistic terms or definition, antimatter is the world or the state of what we call nothingness. Now, when we say nothingness, we don't mean no thing, right? We don't mean it as in nothing, as in no thing that doesn't exist. What we mean is that it doesn't equal up to a sum, right? SUM, meaning the mood of vibration is of such of a fast-paced speed that is undetectable by us having physical senses. So for everything that's in the unseen world or that exists in the state of nothingness, there is a parallel um, existence in the physical world, and we can go into that. Um, so that's the first thing that must be understood. The second thing I think that must be understood is understanding how these things function, how antimatter functions, right? How does electricity function? How does thermodynamics function? Which thermodynamics only deals with heat and pressure, right? How does hydrodynamics function? Hydrodynamics, in its simplest terms, is nothing more than fluid mechanics, the flow of fluids, right? Because remember, ether can be dense, ether can be gaseous, ether can be electromagnetic radiation, because it works in a format that expresses itself in transmutation. So, like, let's say we take hydrogen, right? Hydrogen is the lightest element in existence. And what we mean by lightest is it is the fastest thing that vibrates that still can be perceived in the physical world by the physical senses. On the other side of hydrogen, like when you go back, that's when you start going back into the state of nothingness. But coming from the state of nothingness into the realm of something or things that have a weight or density or sums up to be a thing to where it can be detected by the physical senses, hydrogen starts that process. And what people don't know is hydrogen, and I just actually wrote a post about this. I haven't posted it yet, showing the secrets of the four nuclei of hydrogen. When four hydrogen atoms come together, it starts to form different elements. So all elements are formed from hydrogen, right? And hydrogen is the first thing to exist, and it's the most simplistic atom that is in our physical realm. So if y'all have y'all, I'm gonna stop there because I know sometimes I can overshare. just to see if anybody has any questions um, on like what I just said.
No, peace, God for sure, man. Information of gems being dropped, man. If y'all have any questions, man, anything y'all want elaborated on, or if y'all even want, you know, a couple seconds to kind of absorb that, um, just say the word. But we definitely gonna let the God, keep flowing
Right.
because he's in his circadian rhythm right now. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
he's tapping
I,
in. So let
I usually do that because I think that the concept of non-ether is not an easy thing to grasp. I think that it's science within science. And if people aren't really versed in the sciences, then it makes it very hard for them to be able to grasp the concepts because most subject matter comes with lingo or jargon or words, right? So just like mathematics, if you use the term obtuse, if you use the word adjacent, if you use x squared, these are the actual scientific terminology of math. If you don't understand those terminologies, then you won't understand the subject of math. Pronoun, connoun, adjective, uh, what else? Adjective. All of these are the jargon of the actual English language. So if you don't understand those terminologies, you can't understand English. Likewise, when it comes to the science of non-ether, electricity, electromagnetic radiation, hydrodynamics, thermodynamics, resonant energy, antimatter. If those terminologies are not understood, then you won't be able to grasp the concept of non-ether because it won't make any sense. It'll sound like a foreign language to you. So that's why I give a little bit of information and kind of sort of try to make it to whereas you can have people that are more interactive because what'll happen is you'll sound real deep and then people will just be like, well, I don't understand nothing he's saying, and they'll start leaving because they don't understand. But for the most part, I think that understanding how non-ether functions as being a conscious source. So let's start here. Consciousness is definitely a substance. It's a substance. People don't understand that, but consciousness is a substance. And from consciousness is where all of these subatomic particles, as hadrons, as quarks, as biaps, zealots, all of these things are created out of consciousness. The reason why that must be understood first is because until we understand that consciousness is a substance, we really won't understand non-ether because you're going to be like, well, how did non-ether come into existence? No, non-ether has already existed. Non-ether is just giving you an analogy of all of the forces of nature being um, qualities that's within inside of this particular consciousness, and from this consciousness, it has self-regulated vibrations to be able to bring objects and forms into the physical world to be perceived as whatever the object is: a house, a tree, wood, mortar, grass, animals, plants, the universe, stars, moon. All of these things are manifested from consciousness, right? And consciousness is in and around you everywhere. So non-ether first existed in the state of consciousness, but it understood that through self-regulated vibrations, it was able to create all things out of itself. So all things technically are conscious. And when people say, "Oh no, man, all things aren't conscious," I beg to differ. Here's why: everything in nature has an electron in it. And if we understand the function of electrons, we know that electrons moving is what creates thought, right? It's what creates the consciousness. So imagine a substance that has innumerable subatomic particles within inside of itself, and it can vibrate at a certain speed to be able to create electrons, neutrons, protons, ultimately quarks, which ultimately are, well, quarks come first, then electrons, protons, and neutrons come second. Then it's atoms, and then when atoms can join or groups of atoms come together, that forms molecules, and molecules form the person, places, and things that we see in our material world, right? So when they say, I see the brother said in the beginning was the word, that's a metaphysical saying because the word was the electron actually vibrating. And I can break that down because we're talking about logos. And from logos and nos came existence. But those are more Greek terminologies to actually describe it. So non-ether is a system of thought, right? Because we always learned in the Bible that non-ether was conscious awareness, gases, and conscious moral judgment, meaning it is aware of its own existence if it has conscious awareness, and it knows the what's right and what's wrong to do, right? Non-ether knows that for two hydrogen atoms coming together with oxygen, it can form water, right? But it also knows that with oxygen being present, that hydrogen can work as an explosion, but the two hydrogen atoms and the oxygen atom can work to put the fire out. You understand? So this is intelligence. This is a different type of intelligence that naturally comes within the spiritual substance, not ether. And when people want to know, well, how is non-ether that conscious? How does non-ether know all of these things? Simply because you must understand the etymological sense of the word information, right? Um, when people look at the word information, I don't think that they grasp what information is in totality, and I'll explain what I mean. Information, from an etymological sense, means that which differentiates, separates, or distinguishes one thing from another. I'm going to say that again. By the etymological sense of the word information, it means that which differentiates, separates, and distinguish one thing from another. So, is grass distinguished, separate from water? Yes, it is. Is a human distinguished, separate from, let's say, atom? Yes, these things are different. Any type of way that your physical senses perceive a difference of something, that is information. Also, when you look at the actual direct etymological sense of the word information, you'll see that it means in forma. Anything that's in a form is information. So, and all of these things are made out of gases, which are ultimately made out of molecules, which molecules are formed by atoms, and atoms are formed by subatomic particles, such as protons, electrons, and neutrons. And protons and neutrons are formed from the father of energy, in which we call quark. So, therefore, within inside of non-ether is all information, right? We was taught that non-ether is the most potent power in all the balanced universes. When you look up the word potent from a chemical or chemistry's perspective, potent means the most chemically capable. And what that means is that within inside of itself, it has the ability and power through conscious reasoning to be able to form any atom, any molecule, to be able to form any object form that we can perceive as well as not perceive. So I'm gonna stop there just in case somebody has any questions on me explaining a little further.
Man. Um. Yeah. Again, man. We got bombs being dropped, man. The God minds activated, neuron transmitters firing off right now, family. We in the mental planes.
Brother Lee, the
Um,
mental plane. Absolutely.
we stay elevating, man. That's the goal, man. So if anybody like the guy said, 9 ether isn't a concept that's, if it's not repetitively studied, or if it's not already known to you, you know, on an insightful level, of course. It's like he said, it's a hard concept to, grasp. So we don't want no sensory overloads, we just gonna because it might be people who are more new to the journey, and we just breaking down the information so effortlessly, and on such a high level. We still have to acknowledge the levels, because it's levels to it. What the grandmaster teacher says, levels to this shit.
It's
You got
definitely levels
levels
to it,
to
bro.
it. I say God, no, for sure.
So let's
If you,
start with the ultra gaseous matter, right?
mm,
Which I think that that'll be a good
yeah,
um
that's
I think that'd be a good middle ground.
yeah,
But if
let's
anybody has
get
questions, they can ask the questions. So the ultra gas, they call it the ultra gaseous matter ether, and the reason why they call it the ultra gaseous matter ether is because ether is the combination of all existing gases. Now, in simple terms, all they're saying is that everything in existence can be traced ultimately back to a gaseous form, which ultimately that can be traced back to an atomic form, or I should say molecular, because it's atomic then molecular. So it's gaseous, that's in a specific form, then back to the molecular or the form that it exists in the molecule, and then the atomic form, right? And then pure energy. Pure energy is on the other side of the atomic form where we're talking about quarks and hadrons and things of that nature. So everything basically goes back to being a gas. Now, mind you, non-ether is a conscious substance. Consciousness is a substance, right? Let's start there. Consciousness is actually a substance. It's an infinitely elastic massless medium. What it means is that when we say infinitely elastic, that means it never stops stretching. It never stops growing. This is why the universe constantly keeps expanding, right? And it's massless, right? It has no weight. It has no weight. So let's start there. So then it says we said infinitely elastic, massless, and it's a medium. A medium is a middle point in which something on, let's say, the left side propagates something that has to go through this medium to come out on the right side. So, in other words, we're talking here about electromagnetic radiation. Electromagnetic radiation is a fancy term for light. Like when you go in your house and you click on the light switch, you just activated electromagnetic radiation. And electromagnetic radiation has a spectrum, right? Various spectrums. When we say spectrum, we're going to use hood terms. A spectrum is just different levels, right? You got the light level of electromagnetic radiation, and then you have the color level or spectrum of electromagnetic radiation, and so on and so forth. So all of those things, from color to ultraviolet rays, beta rays, what do you call it? Microwaves, radio waves, television waves. All of these different types of waves are just different types of electromagnetic radiation, or as we call it in simple terms, light, right? So the ultragaseous matter ether is dense. So what it means by dense is in the physical form, the atoms are more closely united or jam packed. So a solid form of something is only a solid when the atoms are jam packed together. Now, mind you, creation only exists or takes place from three different things, right? The combination of different protons, electrons, and neutrons, the speed in which they vibrate, and the proximity. So let's say I'm just throwing this out here as a rough example. If we have 1,000 neutrons, 1,000 protons, and 1,000 electrons, right? They're in the proximity of damn near rubbing up against each other, right? That's the proximity, and they're vibrating at 10 times the speed of light, and that may create an elephant. And let's then say that you have 1 billion electrons, 1 billion neutrons, and 1 billion protons, and they're vibrating a little bit further than touching each other, but not so far that they're like widespread in space of proximity. And let's say that they're vibrating at the speed of sound. And that combination may be what it takes to create a star. So basically, what brings things into existence is the amount of protons, electrons, neutrons that the thing is going to be made up of, the speed in which they vibrate, and the proximity of that vibration. How far apart are the atomic particles from each other? And that's going to tell whether it's a solid, liquid, gas, or plasma. Now, usually we talk about solid liquids and gases, but we never talk about plasma, which plasma is the most abundant in the universe, and that's the most closest thing visibly to non-ether that we actually can like visualize or see with our physical eyes, like the sun. That's more plasma, right? So now say that to say this. I want y'all to understand that this conscious substance that we're calling non-ether, in its conscious, in its in its consciousness state of existence, we call that undifferentiated. Undifferentiated means it has no form. It's infinitely elastic and it's massless. It has no form. Again, through self-regulated vibrations, like you can, like for example, I'm gonna give you an example of self-regulated vibrations or anything that's self-regulated to show you that this is a form of consciousness. Right now, if you wanted to get up out of your seat and walk around, you would make a conscious thought. The neurons would spark in your brain, and your legs would move. You would stand up, and then you would start to walk. Right? If you were hungry and you wanted something to eat, you would make a conscious thought. The neurons would fire in your brain. You would get up. You would go in the kitchen, and once when you gathered your thoughts as far as what you wanted to eat, you would prepare that, sit down, and consciously eat. That that same form of mechanics of the mind is how non-ether operates. The only difference is it is a conscious substance that have the ability to create the subatomic particles and all of the things that it takes to make the atoms and the molecules to eventually create the form. You understand? So from this conscious substance, it is able to do all that. Why do we call it nine? Is because I want to keep drilling this in y'all. The reason why we call it nine is because it represents all. Nine is just a number that represents all. If you go to a dictionary right now and you look up the colloquial version of nine, it'll give you a sentence like she was dressed to the nines, which means the highest point, right? So nine is esoteric symbolism for the highest point. It's the highest point of antimatter. It is the highest point of electricity. It is the highest point of the thermodynamic cycles. It is the highest point of the hydrodynamic cycles. It is the highest point of electromagnetic radiation. It is the highest point of resonant energy. And all of these forces it utilizes within inside of itself through self-regulated variations of vibrations to be able to bring objects and forms into existence that now I'm gonna give you some extra information that are governed by the laws in which they're supposed to operate. And these laws are based on the nature of the particular objects and forms that it actually creates, that it naturally has built inside of the molecules to function a certain kind of way in certain arrangements when it vibrates on a certain level. Now I'm gonna pause there. Y'all with me?
We overstanding family because it's, you know, if you're here and you're vibrating on this frequency, on this resonance, then the overstanding is clear and it's crystalline clear. But we just want to make sure that the neurons still sparking. We want to make sure your neurological faculties, the tetraangular radiating, energies, your energetic morphing field. We want to make sure it's all in a positive alignment right now, and it's at its highest peaking, and it's peaking to its highest forms and sub dimensions and dimensions because we
Absolutely, because we
we
want to make
vibrate
sure you understand it. In other words,
essentially, right?
hmm
Y'all with us, y'all understanding because these are life altering, transmissions. These are light codes that are being brought to you, from the Most High, through the soul, the chosen prophets, through the beings that have been sent here to spread, to wake up the collective. These deep beings like us. What we have going on right now in this panel is what needs to be, appreciated, and not taken for granted. So we just want to make sure y'all still vibrating right now. Y'all good. Y'all good. Everything good. Everybody good. Everybody here with us. Let's keep
okay,
going, God.
okay. So let's go here. The ultragaseous matter ether is the channel for all the physical forces with which you are familiar with. I'm going to say this again. The ultragaseous matter ether is the channel for all the physical forces with which you are familiar with. Let's deal with the word channel. Let's deal with the word channel. right? So, in simple terms, a channel is a passageway, a means of access for a thing, a communication. So, in this particular case, what I'm trying to explain is that it is a band of frequencies used in radio and television transmission, especially as used by a particular station. So this means like that non-ether basically channels the same thing I said through self-regulated variations of vibration. It channels, um, it channels these forces that we see today, like heat, sound, light, motion, ultraviolet rays, cosmic rays, right? And this ether subplane is of the physical. It manifests aspects which operates in human beings under the direction of our conscious mind within the physical form. So, in other words, the ultragaseous matter ether, right, is operating under the law of attraction. So here's where here's where electromagnetism comes in. Here's where magnetism comes in because magnetic force attracts. So it has the ability to attract and repel certain things. When it comes to the formulation of the way that it creates things, that's actually governed by, or I shouldn't say governed by, more affected by the forces heat, sound, light, motion, ultraviolet rays, and cosmic rays. You understand? So it's a channel. And the only way something can be a channel is if it has something in it, energy wise, to be able to push out, right? It has to have something in it to be able to push out. Therefore, we have to look at non ether again as consciousness itself with the ability of self regulated variations of vibrations, able to create objects and forms out of that consciousness, either of a lesser or a greater level of consciousness. I see the brother Young
Hey,
Nuwabian up in the building. Who
I
Amana?
share. We got the God, man. Just tapped him in, man. The young Nuwabian peace, God.
I think he muted.
Oh, bad.
Oh,
I'm just saying I'm muted, man. I was talking, saying what's up to y'all. I was muted. My bad.
Peace, peace,
what's
peace,
good?
God.
I just wanted to open up the channel as the brother was speaking, talking about the high frequencies that we pumping out. I wanted to open up my channel just so anybody who following me that just see that I'm active can come in and actually listen to Messiah El Mahdi. So I'm just opening up my
That
channels as much as I can. If I can be a portal or a gateway for people to get to this very live, I'm gonna do that.
All right,
I
that's
share, I
great.
share, I share. Like I said, we tapping in using the law of attraction, y'all, the law of magnetism right now, family. Like I said, we're building. So share this live if y'all haven't.
For
Share it.
sure.
This information is potent. It's potent, like the brother Messiah said. This is potent
It's
non-ether
potent.
science, hitting you dead on the head, smack on the dead on the top of your head right now. God heads, wake up, get it.
The most chemically capable. That's what potent is.
I share,
I say.
I share, I share to that.
Okay, so the somebody named Freemy says I might sound arrogant and ignorant, but I feel like I've been waiting too long for change. Can you elaborate on that?
Well, the first thing I see is waiting, and if you're waiting for change, you're not putting the change in your own hands. Waiting for change is it's crazy, bro. So let's start there. When we making the change,
It's a more dense, yeah, it's a more dense and slower
when you're
vibration at
waiting.
that. So
So the
you
first thing I'm
talking too
attracted
slow. You
to
need to
is that word
speed up.
waiting. Right. Don't wait. That sound like religion. They over there waiting for Jesus. How you think they coming along?
If we're the most chemically capable, if we come from a substance that's the most chemically capable, and um I just pretty much explained how non-ether is all information, then that means everything we need is within inside of us. We call it activating our non-mind, and what that means is becoming conscious of everything you need to be conscious of in order to activate your capacity and capability to apply and perform. This is what makes us gods. When I say we're gods, I'm saying that we are gods of technology. We have the ability to perform Heka, which was an ancient Egyptian concept that they called magic, but in modern day times it's more specific to engineering. We can socially engineer, alchemically engineer, and so on and so forth. So there's no need to wait. Um, he says there is strength in unity, but we play the game of LBE. LBE, you know what that stands for? Lead by example, right? So of course it takes if we want to fight an individual person, then we could just go up and still off on his ass and just beat the shit out of him, right? But if we want to fight a system, it takes a collective. But people have to first see that there is somebody willing to go out there and that they can live up to the capacity and capability and the qualities that it takes to fight the system. And that's where we come in at. Now you have two types of people when it comes to movements, in my opinion. This is my personal perspective now. One is people that have the leadership ability to be able to lead it and build it without following. And then you have the people that they're not going to help you build it. They're only going to come once when it's already built because they're followers. You have to pick a side. You have to pick a side to decide whether or not you're the one to say, I'm going to do my best to be able to create something from my own creativity that's going to help propel us forward and then let people follow me and bring me in? Or are you going to wait for somebody else to build it and just follow them? Those are only two choices that we have. And I'm not trying to be condescending. I'm just giving you my perspective on the different ways that that could be viewed. From my perspective, I don't wait, right? I see myself as a non-ether being, so I cultivate. You don't have the knowledge that you guys have. The knowledge is what gives courage and strength. I agree, but guess what? Just like you're on this live, all you got to do is hit one of us, if not all three of us, up, and we all pretty much. I'm thinking. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong, brothers. I know I speak with the young Nuwabian every day, so and I'm just getting familiarized with the brother KJ. I think that they'll be willing to help you as much as possible, so long as that they see that you're willing to help yourself. I'm giving classes out. I've been posting my flyer on Facebook, on TikTok for the longest. Even the brother KJ basically was posting my flyer. The young Nuwabian was posting my flyers. The young Nuwabian has been posting. So there's a lot of brothers out here. We got the brother Noon Tare Tech, my mentor. He does a lot of classes. He got the tech community going on. There's plenty of brothers out here where you can actually have enough. How should I say, guys? Like enough people that's willing to help guide you towards the direction you need to go to develop your capacity and capability. It's not a lack of knowledge out here. I
Um,
mean, it's not a shortage of knowledge out here. It's only a shortage of effort. Let me start there.
no, that's facts, man. 100%, man. Yes, definitely, man. Because we understand, um, we understand our parts. Um, we understand the central roles we play within this particular mission right now. Um, this particular energy that we're encompassing. We have the intention and it's encoded and it's pre-encoded with divine transmissions, man, to go off, man. So now we're just here tapping into it and just doing our best, if not better, to bring this awareness, and we're all working in tandem and symbiotic connection with one another. And that's the goal, man, pretty much, to be more familiarized with not only the different tribes and different gods and goddesses, that's out here spreading knowledge, but to be more familiar with self, where we come from, the sciences of who we are and what we are and what we are capable of, of being, as far as the potential energies go, and what kind of dimension and what kind of vibration are you on right now. So we pretty much want to help people speed that shit up because being in the slower one-dimensional, two-dimensional, three-dimensional paradigms and states of consciousness will leave you in the dust. And we're just trying to do our best, to bring this information to our people and while spreading the love and righteous knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. So
Absolutely.
the brother Messiah is like I said, very much in the energy of gratitude for having both of y'all on the panel right now. It's an honor. And just we're building. It's all teamwork and oneness at the end of the
So
day, man.
somebody, I think God of
So
energy says everything in existence is God, and there is nothing outside of existence, so nothing can't have a soul. So I would agree with that, but let me explain to you what people have not yet learned to realize is that they gave religious terminologies for psychological concepts. And here's what I mean by that: spirit and soul have a metaphysical uh, concept or meaning behind it, but technically the root of spirit and soul comes from psychology. Go look up the etymology for the word psyche, which we know psyche is your mind, right? If you go look up the etymology of the word psyche, you'll find that it's a Greek word for soul. And the spirit and the soul are two different aspects of one mind, right? So in psychological terminology, your spirit is literally your conscious mind. And in psychological terminology, your soul is literally your subconscious mind. One is active and one reacts, right? One commands and one acts. Your conscious mind commands your spirit, excuse me, your conscious mind commands your subconscious mind, and your subconscious mind just basically carry it out. So I just wanted to put that out there that when people start talking this spirit and soul thing, those are religious metaphysical terms that describe psychological concepts or concepts of psychology. And I want y'all to go look that up. I want y'all to write the word psyche down and then type in your Google etymology of psyche. And I guarantee you come up with the word soul. I guarantee you come up with the word soul. And when you do the etymology of the word spirit, I guarantee you it'll take you back to breath. And when you start talking about breath, you're talking about air. And when you're talking about air, you're talking about gases. And gases are made up of what? Protons, electrons, and neutrons. And what did I state before? Anything that has a neutron flowing through it, it has some form of consciousness. Now, it may not be what they call soul consciousness or animate consciousness. It may be simply inanimate, not inanimate, but innate consciousness. And what we mean by innate consciousness in the scientific community is that particular object is subjected to whatever is the nature of the atomic particles that's actually flowing through it. And it's going to do whatever those atomic particles are designed to do against this control. In other words, it's called instinct of subjectivity. Instinct of subjectivity means you're just governed by your instincts. This is more animalistic. But in the physics of scientific community, that means that whatever is the nature of the electron, proton, and neutron makeup of a thing or a being, that's the nature it's going to have, and that's how it's going to think, speak, act, or react.
overstanding yet, family, because doing your etymology, your etymological, research is gonna change your life. While you got this information out here being exposed, people bringing out and pushing the information out as well. You have the best receiver, the best receptor is going to be through your own universe, through your own mind. So you have to do the research, and put in the work, man. I'm telling you, it's worth it. It's all about ascension at this point. You know what I'm saying? So are we overstanding? Are we getting a righteous overstanding of what's being conveyed right now?
Okay, so I don't know. It's the God of energy
Because the
said, "I'm
energy
not
is flowing,
spiritual.
and we're getting major
I'm
downloads tonight.
conscious."
And God, the guys came here not to play.
Yeah, so God of energy. I'm looking at the comments because I don't want to go too far without actually dialoguing and making it more interactive. So I don't know if it's a he or she. So part me. It says, "I'm not spiritual. I'm conscious. No labels. I just exist." I never said that anyone was spiritual. That's not what I said. I gave an analogy that people took psychological concepts and gave them religious terminology, not spiritual, religious terminology. Spirit and soul
Or
are religious
the yards here.
terminology for conscious and subconscious mind. those are two aspects of the same mind: consciousness and subconsciousness. One is active and one reacts, or one commands and the other carry it out.
Consciousness would exist on a different dimension, right? Like the mind was, let's say the mind is the fourth dimension. Consciousness, you can say, is then the mind on the third dimension. The mind is the fourth dimension. So when we talking about pure consciousness, we now getting into a fifth dimensional realm. We getting into a realm of more or less selfless, where you don't identify the self as self. This is what I believe the guy in the comments is trying to explain, saying that he just exists. And that is
Right.
the concept. That is the concept, to be still and know that I am God. But in that very thought, you can't be so opinionated. Being opinionated and saying you just exist is an oxymoron. If you just exist, observe, because that is the conscious mind, the observation, the observer. And right now, you're doing a lot of third dimensional activities when you're supposed to be just observing.
Okay, Free Me says, um, he was like, but I'm on the wrong page. He said, I respect and applaud what you guys are doing, sharing knowledge and teaching, but I'm on the wrong page. Where I'm from, we don't have this luxury. I think that you've reached it some way, shape, form, or fashion. What we call El Kalum, the All, or the Universal Mind, wanted you to hear the message. So maybe where you from, in the physical geographical location, it doesn't have what we're presenting, but you've ran into it. So now my question for you is, what are you going to do with the fact that you've ran into brothers that can help give you that information so that you can do what you need to do to be a better you? What are you going to do with it? Okay, God of Energy is, I think he's saying, observing is acting on excitement. That's not what observation means, but okay. Observing is acting on excitement and ignoring the what you don't prefer to not match it or be it and be it. No, observation is not acting. Observation is literally sitting still and watching and letting. First of all, here's what people have to know, right? This goes back to the scientific and mathematical method of information process that we call the sciences, and the science and sciences, or what we call square in the circle, right? So the only way you can experience information in the physical form is to detect it by your physical senses. Without physical senses, you cannot experience information, but you process that information by your mind through a cyclical process of reasoning, comprehension, analysis, synthesis, and to be able to come up with the results as to whether something is fact or fiction, true or false, right or wrong, good or bad, right? So observation is the first step, because you allow whatever your senses are detecting to actually enter your mind so that it can be processed by the mind. It's not acting, it's actually sitting still and absorbing. It's
That
a
would
state
be
of
judgment.
absorption. Huh?
That would be judgment as well, because now you are taking a thing and judging it. And observing is not judging a thing at all.
Right, that's observing.
Right.
When we observe, the only thing we're doing literally is watching and processing. Watching and processing.
Exactly. But
That's
once
it.
you, but what I'm trying to say, big bro, is once you act on that observation and have a certain type of inclination to speak upon it, you're now judging. You're no longer observing
Okay.
because you just acted on the observation. And that's where
Okay.
that's
Yeah.
where I think the people in the comments are getting confused as they're acting on their observations. They're now judging what you're saying and coming up with their own idea of it, which is not observing. So I want them to know, in them saying that they're observing what you're saying, they're not. They're judging what you're saying and actually being somewhat combative to the teacher in the room right now. That's how I perceive it in their own quote unquote observation.
Hmm. Well, I think that maybe like certain concepts, people have to hear it in different words because words are abstractions and they can cause confusion. So, for example, when I'm reading the person's message, I automatically give leeway for the fact that it's like texting on the phone. It has no expression. It could be taken any kind of way, as opposed to if that same thing was said to me in a certain tone of voice, maybe I may be receptive, or vice versa. If I said something in a certain tone of voice versus messaging it, then it would be more receptive. So I always give leeway for that. Secondly,
Right.
secondly, I know at the sound of my voice there are certain people who the information is going to resonate with, and there are certain people that the information is not going to resonate with. So it's like in sales. I'm never worried about the person that told me no, that they didn't want to buy my product. I'm only concerned with the people that actually told me yeah, and they were satisfied with it, because
Right.
I'm not about, um, like me personally, I'm really not about the combativeness, nor do I even see it as combativeness. I actually think that the person in the comments is just expressing their viewpoint in their own words. So I give leeway for
Right.
that until someone shows me differently. But paradoxically speaking, the information that we're presenting right now is either going to resonate with people or it's not. And
Right.
I think that when it comes to non-ether, for us to become non-ether beings, we would have to be able to literally absorb all of those concepts and learn how they actually apply in the physical realm. We would have to know how antimatter applies in the physical realm. We would have to know how electricity, which science have already basically divulge that information, but how electricity applies in the physical realm. How does hydrodynamics apply in the physical realm? I'm literally starting 9 science classes. If y'all have not joined, y'all need to join my Google chat group, um, so that we can be able to discuss this. I have an organized format in order to teach this, but on live, like I'm not the type of person to go live. I did it because the brother asked me, and I thought that it was a good idea to actually try to have some form of dialogue about it, being as though I am going to be running the classes for those that actually want to learn. But as simple as this, we have to learn how this stuff applies in the physical realm. Now, if you go on my page, you're going to find a lot of science, because that's what I am. I'm a scientist. I teach anatomy, I teach physiology, I teach neuroplasticity, I teach neurology, um, and I combine all of that to show you how non-ether science, or non-ether as an actual living entity, is incorporated into all that. Because if non-ether created the universes in there, if non-ether beings created the universes in their etheric form, and then personified themselves as flesh and blood beings, then that means non-ether as a concept is science, right? It's science. It's all science. And the greater that we overstand, check this out, family. The greater that we overstand the sciences to whatever is the greatest level that we can overstand it, the better we can apply that and breed a better world for self and kind. Okay, whoa, somebody said, shut up. What do you have to prove? Hold on, hold on, hold on.
Ignore Dave, big
Who?
bro. Keep rocking.
Oh, is this
Hey,
for me or what?
I say to the
Yeah, we gonna keep the
acknowledgement.
vibes high. Cause what you talking about, big bro? It's gonna be a little bit of polarity. It's always a little bit of polarity. When the vibes get too high, they always gonna send an agent. So we gonna teach him too.
Oh no, I don't know. I'm just reading. Like, anyway, so yeah.
It seemed like Brody having a little difficulties.
Who?
Cool, bro. You back?
I'm here.
All
Can
right.
you hear me?
Yeah, you good. The proof is in the
Okay.
science, Dave. Do your homework, Dave. It do
Okay.
hit
So
different.
the proof of what? Answer. What is he saying?
Peace.
What is spit your words? Where's the
Peace,
proof?
peace, peace. Peace, Don.
Okay. So I don't know where Dave is asking because he says, "What is spit your words? Where is the proof?" Okay. So I gave the proof. So here's the proof. Here's the proof. In concept, I'm gonna just use this for lack of a better term. I'm gonna use concept, but it's not a concept. But anyway, just for lack of a better term, so that we all on the same vibration with the abstraction of the word. In concept, all forces of nature, all what do you call it? All active and passive forces of nature in combination is all of nature. I'm going to say this again. All forces of nature, all passive and active forces of nature combined into one is all, right? So now
Right.
we use a number to describe all. What number do we use, Hector, to describe all?
We use the 9.
9. Because 9 is the number that symbolizes all or 100%. Now I don't know how to share like stuff to this particular chat, but I put a post on my page where I gave everybody the Egyptian numbering system. I gave the Egyptian numeral system. And number nine
Yep.
in ancient Egypt, and number nine in ancient Egypt was the symbol for 100. This whole concept of non-ether was noon science. And what I mean by noon science, I ain't talking about the Looney Booth. I'm talking about the actual ancient Egyptian concept of the deity Noon, because the primordial abyss was
Mm-hmm.
non-ether. It
Right.
was non-ether, right?
Right.
And this was esoteric symbolism for this particular conscious substance um, that they observed to what. Now remember, forces can't be
This the
observed as
primeval waters.
the primeval waters. Absolutely,
Let's get it.
absolutely, the primeval waters. Go ahead, bro.
Let's get it.
Okay,
So the
so
primeval waters, the primeval. Oh, okay, okay. I thought you said go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
yeah, go ahead. Yeah, that's what I said. Go
Because
ahead.
that's when you lead into the Agduet.
Right.
So Big Bro will let you know, or how he told me as far as Noon being the primordial or the primeval is basically saying this is the substance of life in totality, 100%, which is the universe, which was actually manifested into a physical form from itself. So this is 9Ether creating itself into physical matter, becoming the 9Ether race, as you would know as Negroid.
Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. Family. Are y'all understanding? Are we tapped in and we getting downloads? Because to understand self and to be tapped in, with this knowledge is to be the encompass the energy of divinity. Is to connect back with your highest extension or highest aspect of self,
Ashe,
which is in the
Ashe.
all, which is in the all and part of all. And it's a one mind. You know, um,
That's kind of when
individuality.
you get,
Sometimes.
not to cut you off, Big Bro, but that's kind of when you get into Amun, which is the hidden one. So Amun is a state of mind, which is the observer, the true observer, the he who is, the he who no one knows whom his self is. Anything else is really an assumption. When we start to think what we are outside of this observation or outside of this consciousness, whatever label we put on self, it's not truly self. It's almost as if your mother haven't even seen you. We've never seen who we truly are. We only know the assumption of what we think we are when we come to the mind of Amun, because it's hidden. This is the obscure one. So when you get in the true meditation, you have to find that hidden place, that hidden light. You get what I'm saying? And that's when you get into the three, when you get into the Medu-Neter system. The Medu-Neter system is basically a diagram and a chart that breaks down the consciousness, where they actually stole this same chart and use it as the Kabbalah. And it's people that put up these 10 Sephirah or 10 spheres and say, this is Jewish. This is the Kabbalah. This is from Hermes Trismegistus, which is nothing but a Greek form of Thoth. So I don't want to get into the plagiarism. I want to get into the fact that most of these religions today have got their knowledge from Egypt, and spirituality itself comes from this motherland. So when we come to think about spirituality, we have to really look at Africa, the mother of all civilization and the mother of all spiritual teachings. And it's a lot of people that's on this app saying otherwise, as if Africa don't got nothing for the people. That's what I'm seeing across this app. It's an anti-African movement going on. And really, this is where the study of self originated. Who? Y'all with me?
We here, God. Yo, family, we active in it. We active in the lobby still, man. We active in the panel. We just getting out the information, family. We in a state of quantum entanglement, in a state of interconnectedness and just receiving the transmissions right now, family. Are y'all with us still? Because
100%.
Yeah, the brother.
even
We got another. I didn't mean to cut you off, KJ, but we got another brother that want to come up. I just had a conversation with him the same day I had a conversation with you. He family too. It's WWMN slash.
Hey, actually, family, I'm about to restart this live. Give me 1 second, all right?
All right.
Okay,
When I
bet.
go live again, tap back
You
in.
want to tap back in?
I'm gonna restart
Facts,
my
facts,
phone.
facts.
Yeah.
All
You
right.
know
All
how
right. Peace.
TikTok do, bro.
You back?
All right.
You know it.
All right.